Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of The Democratic View. I'm the hostess, and my name is Phyllis Italiano. And as a matter of fact, coming out of the water yesterday, somebody said to me, "Hey, Phyllis Italiano." So I guess there's somebody else who's watching the show. Today, my guest is a very lovely young lady. Her name is Isabel Saaveda. And she is a local young lady, part of a group called the Young Leaders of East Hampton, I guess.
Yes, the new leaders.
The new leaders.
Yeah.
The new. Well, they are young. That's why I said young.
We are young as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's nice. That's what we like, is young people getting involved. So, Isabel, I want you to tell us your story about how you got here to this country and your life as it went on.
Okay. So I came to the United States in September of 1998. My parents were already here. They had been here 5 months before us, and we stayed, my sister and I, when I say we, I refer to my sister and I, we stayed home with an aunt who would take care of us until my parents got settled in Montauk. So after the summer passed, they were able to say, all right, we can bring them over.
And you came on
My sister and I came with a visitor's visa.
a visitor's
Yes.
visa.
Prior to my parents coming, they went to the U.S. Embassy and asked that we all get visitor's visas. So we came in September. My parents enrolled us in school right away. And I think by December, we were already pretty fluent in English. My sister got it faster than I did because she was out of ESL by the time she finished, I believe, 3rd grade. I stayed on until about maybe 8th grade, but I was able to speak it fluently, and I think she got it so fast because...
So when you came here at 10 years old, you spoke no English?
Yeah, I only knew the ABCs and the numbers. That's it.
In English. And
Yes.
then you went to John Marshall?
No, we went to Montauk Public School.
You went to Montauk Public School first?
We both did, yes. Till we graduated. I graduated from Montauk School. My sister graduated from East Hampton Middle School.
Okay, so you and then went to the high school, and by 8th grade you were speaking English, and you were 10 when you came here, and 8th grade you were how old?
13, 14?
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
I know, being an educator, I
Yeah.
know. So you're telling me that in 3 years you became fluent reading and writing in English?
Yeah. By 8th grade, when I got to high school, I had no ESL classes. I was in all the regular classes. And my sister was done even earlier. I think she was fluent in a year. She was completely fluent.
And English, by the way, was not spoken in the house.
No.
So you had the opposite of us, of my family background. My family background, when my parents wanted to tell a secret, it was in Italian, and what little Italian they knew, because they are both American born. And for you, when you wanted to tell a secret, you used English.
Yeah, to tell my sister. So we were prohibited from speaking English because they didn't want us to lose our Spanish, because they thought it was so important to be bilingual. So only when my sister and I were arguing, or, little girls, we would do it in English, and my dad would get mad.
So your sister's younger than you?
She's 3 years younger. Yes.
3 years younger.
Yes.
So she was 7 when she came. Well, that's probably why
And
she
I
learned
think
it
to this day, she speaks better English. Her grammar is definitely better than mine. And it's because she came here. I think the 3-year gap made a huge difference. Her reading comprehension is way better than me, and Yeah.
You would say much better.
Much better, yes.
Way better.
Yes. Much better than mine, yes.
And then you went to high school here in
East Hampton High School, yes. I went to
East Hampton High School. And then what college?
I went to SUNY Old Westbury State School. Throughout high school and throughout my first 3 years of undergrad, I was undocumented. So high school, I remember being, towards my junior and senior year, I was realizing, I always knew that I was undocumented. But my junior and senior year was when it really hit me, because all of my friends were taking driver's ed classes and I was not able to take driver's ed, nor get a driver's license. Then when it was time to apply for colleges, I was very limited in my options because, one, I couldn't get financial aid, nor did I qualify for any scholarships because they all wanted to be U.S. citizens. And undocumented students back then did not qualify, or it was just a law was started where undocumented students could get in-state tuition if they went to a public school. So I was able to get in-state tuition, but I needed to move to SUNY, to Old Westbury, which was where the school was located. And so my dad had to pay out of pocket for my first 3 years of education, which was $15,000 a year for my first 3 years.
So did you understand, besides the fact that you knew you couldn't get a driver's license, did you understand what undocumented meant?
Yeah, I understood that at a very, very young age. Even when I was 10, I knew what our circumstances were. I knew we were here technically legal for the first 6 months. And after 6 months, your status expired. So then you were in the shadows. And I remember living in a small hotel room in Montauk with my parents. And one of his friends once came knocking in the door really loud, saying, "Immigration is here, immigration is here," as a joke, but I don't think he knew that we were in the house. And I was terrified ever since then, because we would always lock the door to make sure because there was also, at that time, talks that there were raids going on. So I remember being really young and being paranoid about getting detained.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty. So since I was 10, I knew I was undocumented.
And then you finally became documented.
Not until my 20th birthday, yes.
Your 20th birthday. So you already were in college.
Yes, I was in my third year in college. I'm almost starting my senior year. Yes.
What was your major in college?
I was an American history major.
You were an American history major. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Gee, I hope you learned it well.
I enjoy history a lot.
Yeah, I do too.
And it was somewhat helpful for law school.
And what made you decide to go to law school?
I think throughout the whole process of getting documents, we encounter several lawyers and non-attorneys that also, you could say, took advantage of our situation, that took advantage in the fact that we weren't very knowledgeable of how the system worked. So I said to myself that I wanted to be a lawyer to help young undocumented immigrants like myself, because I feel like if you come here at a very young age and you're with your parents, some of them learn how to speak English and some of them don't. So my sister and I had to navigate that system because we were the ones speaking to the attorneys.
You know what we call that in my business? We say you are parentified.
Yeah.
You are made the parent.
Yeah, we were the parents in the family.
Exactly. That's what we say in education. Having been an administrator and a teacher in a bilingual school, when the child is the one who is interpreting the society to the parents, the child has the power of the parent.
Yeah, it's funny. Several parent-teacher conferences, we would go with our parents and translate for our parents what our teachers were saying.
Oh, wow. I'm sure you made it all in your favor. You're
Yes,
smart.
even when they had bad things to say. No, but yeah, that's what it was. That's what happened. So, I don't know. I started to develop, kind of like a passion for the career, and I don't know.
And what law school did you go to?
I went to University of Massachusetts,
Oh, really?
and that's their first public interest law school in Massachusetts. So.
And so you also then came back here to East Hampton?
Yes, I moved back to East Hampton, and I started working with Immigration Legal Services of Long Island. I worked there for about 8 months, took the New York bar and passed, and now I'm just waiting admission, which they told me yesterday I should be admitted. My swearing-in ceremony should be August 19th. So I'm
We'll
like,
have to celebrate that one.
I'm really excited about that.
How do your parents feel about all of that?
They're very proud. They worked really hard. If it weren't because I had my parents here, I would have had to choose between going to school or getting a full-time job. My dad, I remember being, I think 12 when I got my first job. I worked at John's Drive-In for maybe 5 years. And my dad said, I told my dad, I said, Dad, I want to start working. And he's like, you're too young. He's like, you're not working. And I'm like, Dad, I want to make my own money. And he's like, okay, the only condition is that if your grades drop, you have to stop working. And I said, okay, sure. So I started working. My grades didn't, drop or anything. So I've always enjoyed, working and stuff. But
And making your own money.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
yeah.
I mean, all my children worked as teenagers, but not 12. I don't think any one of my kids worked at 12.
I wanted to work and help my parents because I saw how hard they were working and how hard they had to sacrifice themselves. I remember being at SUNY Old Westbury and my dad having 2 jobs. He worked as a plumber during the day, and night he would do valet parking. And so he would leave the house at 7 in the morning and wouldn't come back till midnight that day just to put me through school because we couldn't get financial aid. So we saw that, my sister and I saw that, and he said to us since we were little, we came here so you guys get an education, and that's all I want you guys to do. So I think that really stayed in, we kept that in mind for sure.
Dads do that kind of thing. I can think of my own father who started working as a 13-year-old himself because his father died and there were many children in the family. And he started in what was a very thriving business called the dress business located in New York City. Mm-hmm. And when I was a child, and I think maybe I remember in 3rd grade, which is 8 years old, my father was going to school at night. And I couldn't figure out why he was going to school. But he went to school for 8 years, twice a week, and came home, it was 3 times a week, came home at 10 o'clock and had a warmed over dinner to become a pattern maker, which is the engineer of the dress business. Wow. So you see, fathers do those kind of things for their mm-hmm. children, yeah. so that their children can go on to have a better life. Let's hope that American dream can continue to function.
Yeah.
And so how did you get involved in the group you're in now, the New Leaders? So
after graduating law school, I knew that I wanted to come back to the community, and I knew that there was a lack of Hispanic leadership. So I got an email from the East Hampton Democrats where they said that they were starting a new leaders group where they wanted more minorities involved. So I just called Diana Walker, and she was very happy, and she welcomed me to their meetings. And we just started, all of a sudden we said, all right, we're going to have, a little kickoff party, and then we're going to meet the first Monday of every month.
The first Monday of every month at Deaconella's.
Yes, at 7 p.m.
At 7 p.m. Yes, I usually go.
Yes,
as a matter of
you're
fact.
always there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
thank you for coming.
yes, indeed. Well, it's very important for us to begin to help the people who are here to become part of our community. It's very important.
Yeah.
You know, people are here. We gotta make sure that they become good citizens.
Exactly.
As exactly what you are doing, becoming a really good citizen. And I understand you're now telling me that you do have a job.
Yes. So it happened within a week. Clinic, which is Catholic Legal Immigration Network, Inc., was hiring an associate to go down to Texas and work at the South Texas Residential Center, which is the largest detention center where women and children are being placed in Dilley, Texas, which is an hour south of San Antonio. And what I will be doing is going down there, helping another attorney represent the 1,700 women that they have detained there right now. And so I'm really excited about that because it's really at the center of immigration, and I think it's going to be an amazing experience.
Well, it certainly will. But we hope you come back here again because we need people who are lawyers and can represent Spanish-speaking people as well as you will be able to.
Thank you. No, I mean, my contract is only for 6 months. Right now, there's a lawsuit going on against the center. They're facing several human rights violations. For example, I want to take an opportunity to mention this because I believe last week, people at the detention center
This is in Texas.
in Texas, they grabbed 500 children at 4 o'clock in the morning against the mother's wills and gave them hepatitis A vaccinations. And yeah, that sounds good because they're being vaccinated, but the majority of them already had the vaccination, so they're having an overdose of the vaccinations. And so many children were really, really sick, vomiting, tired, didn't want to do anything. Because now they have an overdose of hepatitis A. So these are the sort of things that are going on down there. So it's only going to be a 6-month contract, and I hope to be back after 6 months and continue to work here as an immigration attorney.
As an immigration, is that what you're going to really be doing, is immigration?
I really want to. I want immigration to be my main focus and my expertise. So I definitely want to stick to immigration.
So are your parents documented now also?
Yes, my mom is actually in the midst of becoming a U.S. citizen. Her naturalization exam is next week. And my dad and my sister are in the process. I just became a U.S. citizen last February. So for the first time, I'll be able to vote in coming elections. So
oh, what a thrill!
I've never voted, so I'm really excited to be able to practice that right.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you.
Thank
because voting is it.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing that we Americans are supposed to do, although not all Americans do it as they should.
Yeah, I think that once you can't do it, and it's just makes you want to do it even more. So I'm very excited to be able to vote.
I used to say to my students in my humanities classes, if you don't vote, I will haunt you from the grave, because it is a very, very important thing to be able to do.
It really is.
And wow, this is such an exciting story. And what I love about, and the reason I wanted this story to be told was I wanted people to understand that people who do come here want to have a better life and are willing to sacrifice, get educated, and become American citizens and contributing members of society.
Yeah, I really want to say that the majority of the people who come here come to do good. And I mean, I was brought here at 10, and my sister came when she was 7. We didn't really have much say whether we wanted to come here or not, and I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful that I was brought here. But many young children, there's children who are coming at a younger age than I did, and all they know is this country, and this is their home. So they are here to do good things, and they're here because they want to be better persons. And my mom works she cleans houses, and I've gone to clean houses with my mom, and she brings me, so she says, this is what I have to do. I don't want you to be doing the same thing, so I want you to be better, So I am very blessed to have the family that I have, and that they brought me here just so I can get an education.
I used to have an ESL teacher at my school, Madeline Rodriguez, who used to say, they've got to speak English so they can get out of the kitchen. And it's true.
Yeah.
It's, you have to be able to, what you're here for really is to get an education, to be able to get a better job, to have a better life.
Yeah, there's several East Hampton high school students right now who are dreamers, which is, I'm not sure if you're aware what a dreamer is.
Well, you tell us. I am, but go ahead.
But
tell us
many, some of the viewers might not know. And these are children who are brought up very young age and are undocumented. So when it's time for them to go to college, they can't because they're undocumented or they don't have the money. So Obama passed the executive action, and it's not really the DREAM Act, but it's something very similar to the DREAM Act, where if they came here before their 15th birthday, are enrolled in school or are graduating at the age of 15, they can apply, and they have no criminal record, they can apply for a work permit. And so they're giving a work permit every 2 years. They have to renew it, but at least with a work permit, they can go get licenses and, continue their education. And it's very important, to know that these kids who are dreamers because one day they hope to become legal permanent residents, and they have huge dreams of not only getting a documentation, but of doing big things in this country because this is their home. So going to college, getting a career and being better for themselves. So.
Did you finally get a driver's license?
I did. I have a driver's license, and I passed on the first road test. So I was very happy about that.
That's good, because I didn't pass on the first road test, I must admit.
Yeah.
But I wanted to mention that I vaguely remember when I was very young, my mom talking about my grandmother taking the test, and they were teaching her things about taking the test to become a naturalized U.S. citizen. I think I have her citizenship papers. Wow. It was part of my mother's stuff that was in her house. And
yeah, my sister and I have been practicing with my mom this whole week, doing, the 100 U.S. history questions that they ask you. Or they give you an option of 100 questions, and they only ask you 10. So we've been studying with her and in English, and so it's been quite interesting. And very exciting.
And does she speak some English?
She speaks some English, yes. She understands a lot. She just gets really nervous when she has to speak. And so...
I always like to say when I go to Italy, and I've studied Italian for years and years and years, but I'm dyslexic, so I'm not very good at language. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that I can speak very well. I can say, come stai? Oh, all these kind of things. And the minute they start talking to me back in Italian, I don't know what they're saying because I can't translate quickly enough.
Exactly. She needs, it's all about listening.
Yes.
And if you can, so we've been training her. I'm like, Mom, look at me and listen. You understand what they're saying, but she gets so nervous. But she's gonna pass. I'm sure.
But I'm going to tell you something as an educator. If you were able to learn English as rapidly as you did, because I have studied about learning from one language to another, transitioning. It usually takes for a young child 6 years, and it didn't with you. And that means that in your brain, you probably have a very strong language center, as opposed to me, I'm what's called left brain, not right brained, and I don't have that. So language is very difficult for me. When I have to learn a new language, you know. But obviously you did very well with that. To have gone to law school, where language must be very complicated.
Yeah, it was definitely an adjustment. My first year was definitely an adjustment.
Did you get help along the way? Did anybody help you with that?
In law school?
Yeah.
My sister has really good reading comprehension, and so a lot of times when I have to write papers, and also I have a mentor, so I usually send my...
Where did you get the mentor from?
From middle school. No, East Hampton High School.
Really?
He was Mr. Hartnett, Daniel Hartnett. He was a school psychologist, and so he was the one who helped me with all my college applications because my parents didn't speak English, and so I needed to write well-written essays.
God bless the teacher, huh?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so even to this day, whenever I need to write something that needs proofreading, usually my sister, who has really good grammar, and then Mr. Hartnett helped me with all of that. But yeah, so I guess I did get help because my reading comprehension was definitely. But after my first week in law school, I read more than I ever read in my high school and college together. I really did. It was it was like a rude awakening when I got to law school.
Well, my dear girl, I wish you lots of luck
for having me
and
on
I
the
just
show.
brought you on this show so that people can see that people who come here really want to have a better life.
Thank you so much.
And contribute to our country.
Thank you.
Very good. Well,
Thank you.
So we'll be on to Texas, huh?
I know. We're going into New York City right now, and then we're leaving tomorrow at 4 in the morning. My sister's coming with me because we have to drive. They want me to have a car. Oh. And so she's flying on Sunday, back on Sunday.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. I'll see you hopefully in 6 months.